What are the top unrealistic expectations in relationships? Grab your stick, grab your drink. Let's get into this thing right now. What up? What up? What up? It's your boy JB coming at you live and direct. You know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man. I'm the real Cigar Jeff. All of my information is below, man. Y'all know the routine. As soon as you come into the building, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, because we going to jump right into this thing. But before we get started, y'all know it's the Family Affair edition. And, of course, I got to introduce my resident relationship expert. And, man, let y'all know who she is and what she's sipping on for tonight's topic.
Hey, JB, thanks for having me back. What's up, everybody? Tonight, it's been a little cold, not cold, but a little chilly, a rainy day up here in Charlotte. So I had to go with an oldie but goodie. Of course, I have my hot chocolate, but my Nestle hot chocolate. But tonight I mixed it with some Di Serrano Velvet.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this. I've never tried it, but it shouldn't be too much different than other competitors. So that's what I'm gonna sip on tonight. And of course, my trusty Costco apple lime water.
that Kirkland brand. That Kirkland brand gets you every time.
Absolutely.
People slipping on it.
Yes.
People slipping on it.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
JB.
Appreciate you being on, guys. Y'all know I finished off my box. The last one. New World, Cameroon. Of course, y'all know I'm flying the colors with the merch. I don't know if y'all can see that right there with the merch.
Yeah.
See, let me turn that so y'all can see the merch. And of course, I'm drinking my stateside vodka, man. My stateside vodka, my Surfsides, bruh, my iced tea, vodka, lemonade. These things hitting, because unlike in North Carolina, it's been hot down here, man. So let's get into this thing. The top unrealistic expectations in relationships. So, Rhonda, when you got the topic, what was some of the unrealistic expectations that you had, or that came to your mind? That came to your mind. I shouldn't say that came to your mind, not that you had. Sorry, guys. We done had technical difficulties all night, so we just getting to it.
Yeah, no, you fine. What I thought about when you brought the topic up, I said probably the most unrealistic one is being present in my book. Like, people, you're supposed to be present, but I think it's an unrealistic request for people because people don't know how to be present. I'm there, but I'm not present.
Okay.
I also thought that great communication is an unrealistic expectation. So unless you texting, people don't want to talk. People don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to do anything that is hard or requires them to put in any effort. So those were my top two that I thought were most important. Unrealistic is to be present, because people don't know how to be present. They don't even know how to show up for themselves, let alone show up for you in their relationship. But I'm sure you're going to bring us some good information on what's unrealistic. That's just what I thought of, because people rather check out. Hey man, let's check out. Let's not put that attention there. You should already know me. So that's why I said communication.
It's so funny, guys, because I'm glad Rhonda brought that up. And I do have an article that we're going to get into pretty quick, because I want to make sure we get through everything this article said. But I think what one of the things you got to ask yourself is, are you in a formal relationship or informal relationship? Because I think these unrealistic expectations come when it's a formal relationship. A lot of people don't understand that the formal relationships present the most challenges. The informal relationships are the ones that are the easiest to enjoy. Do you agree with that sentiment, Ron? Informal versus formal?
But which one you said was more enjoyable?
The informal one is more enjoyable than the formal one. It's like people change. It's like a light switch goes off a light switch comes on in the formal one, that make people create more barriers than what needs to be. Because remember, guys, this is unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic.
I do agree with you to a certain extent. I just that there's a lot of formal people having informal relationships. That's
And
just
I
how I
agree. That
feel
shouldn't
about it.
it shouldn't have become it shouldn't have become a formal relationship,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. The formal relationship is formal, but they're having
No, there
to
you go.
keep
You coming? You coming up?
to keep the formal relationship good.
See.
They gotta
That
have
ain't in
the.
the article that I'm gonna show, guys. By the way, that ain't
Okay,
in the article. But
that's what I
Rhonda
mean.
going.
Now you can have your definition, but that's what I mean.
Well, but the reason why I said it, guys, is because one of the things I see on social media a lot, and y'all got to understand, a lot of people send me stuff that they want me to discuss, or they'll send me a reel, or they'll send me a text, or they'll send me an article that they want me to discuss. I'm no relationship guru. Ron is no relationship guru. As we say it all the time, this is for entertainment purposes only, right? But I thought what was interesting is, Ron, a couple of ones that I think are unrealistic is making a woman domesticated. I get so tired of seeing stuff on social media that says she better cook, she better clean, right? So you got guys out here judging the value of a woman by her domesticated duties, right? And so now I got something sent to me that said every time she cooks for you and cleans for you, she hates you. The hate grows. The
Mm.
hate because she didn't get into a relationship to cook for you expectedly or to clean for you expectedly. It should be something that, okay, I can do it, but because I'm with you, I don't have to do it. But a lot of people are trying to make women domesticated, and a lot of women are trying to make men caretakers. So you got a lot of guys trying to avoid the child support system. So they're walking around with the baby bag, stroller, doing everything they can to try to make sure they don't end up in child support court. Okay,
But
so
now men
so
should participate. If they don't help make this baby, they should
no, no, no.
participate
I ain't saying
in
that. I
stuff
ain't
like
saying to
that.
make, I ain't saying to not participate. I'm saying that it's out of balance. So you took a
No,
guy
it's
that
not.
with it's out of balance. I'm just telling you some of the unrealistic expectations that at the end of the day, spending time and becoming a caretaker is two different things. You said it, being present and being involved in that kind of thing. But what you're finding is, guys, if you work if you work 10, 12 hours a day, especially if you're a manual labor person, and the person tells you on top of that you got to come home and deal with kids, and they may have been sitting home all day, or they may not have the same type of demand put on their physical bodies, and now you got to do the physical at work to provide and got to do the actual caretaking at home just so you can say you did your part. Because everybody knows when you get into divorce court and when you get into child support court, oh, the child never spent time with the child, never did this, never did that. And so now you got a bunch of guys that are trying to come across as a Mr. Mom, if you will, just to try
As
to
they should.
you should not be trying to be a Mr. Mom. That's another conversation. That's another podcast for another day. So I'm just talking about some of the unrealistic expectations.
It's
And the
not
next
unrealistic.
guys, we I'm telling you, this gonna be an interesting one.
But that's not
So
unrealistic.
so domestication is killing a lot of relationships, and then equality is killing a lot of relationships. There's a dominant and then there's a submissive, and that may change day to day. There's no such thing as equality. Every house got to have a leader. Every relationship got to have a leader. Somebody gonna be number one. Somebody
But
gonna
both
be number
people
two.
are responsible. But both people are responsible.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But the reason why I'm having this discussion with you guys is because if you're depending on your tradition will determine how unrealistic your expectations are. Because you might be sitting there saying, I can't find a man, or I can't find a woman, or I don't want to be with a man, or I don't want to be with a woman. Because the more unrealistic expectations you have, guys, the more, the less your pool is to fish out of. See, guys, if you want, look, I'm in sales. I shouldn't say I'm in sales. I am in sales, but I grew up in sales. That's my background, sales and marketing. You knew that if you were fishing, we used to break down our clients, our prospects: squirrel, rabbit, deer, shark, whale. That whale, it ain't that many out there, but there's plenty of squirrels. So sometime when you need to make your number, you might need to call on 100 squirrels to make one deer, right? Or to make one shark and all that kind of stuff. Because the more you ask for, the less it is of them out there. I need everybody to kind of understand that. So you can have all these qualities you want to have in a partner, but you do understand that the more qualities you demanded, the fewer guys or girls out there that's going to meet that. What do you think about that, Rhonda?
No, that's understandable. That's a good way to clean up what you had just said.
It ain't cleaning it up. It ain't cleaning it up.
That's a good way to try. Yes, it is. Cause
It ain't cleaning it up.
Yes, it is. Like what the?
Yeah, no. But the caretaker thing is big, man. You got women trying to be the man, men trying to be the woman, and what I mean by that is reversing role. We did a podcast on that on role reversal, guys. Y'all get down in the playlist and look at it.
But no, but a woman being at home all day as the stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife or what have you, that is still work, just as hard work as manual labor.
I agree. I'm not discounting that.
So does the man need to come home and help with the kids? Absolutely. I don't care what type of manual labor he's been doing. Right?
Or the man
he could have been in his informal relationship. He could
or
have
the
been
man or the man. If you want to make your woman domesticated, cooking and cleaning, hire a maid. Hire a maid, because if you make her domesticated, trying to make her cook and clean all the time, she gonna end up hating you. I just saw the article where the lady was putting the Clorox in the guy's coffee. Just got sentenced to 3 years probation instead of prison.
All I'm saying is, if you're out and you're getting adult time, that does make a difference.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
At home with the kids.
I agree with
all day
you.
Long.
But if your wife or your girlfriend is sitting at home with the kids, or if the man is sitting at home with the kids, there should still be a daycare part-time available so that person gets a break as well. Maybe they don't go to daycare full-time. They go to daycare two or 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my point is. The same thing. But if your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend cooks for you all the time, there should be at least 2 or 3 days where y'all going out to eat dinner. See, these unrealistic expectations, when you start doing something daily, right? I go to the gym. I probably go to the gym 4 days out of the 7. I would love to go 1 day, but the results ain't gonna happen, right? But that's what's gonna happen. You got to let your body recover, guys. You can't. There's some people who gonna go to the gym 7 days a week, but that's because they're working towards something specific. On a regular, you got to let your body recover. Okay. So that was kind of where I was at with it when I saw it, Rhonda, which is, I think a lot of people are trying to turn people into their slave or their servant, and I'm gonna tell you what to do. There's a lot of parent-child going on instead of collegial, and I think that's what needs to happen. But I want to go to this article, Rhonda. We're gonna jump right into this thing.
Okay.
We're gonna jump right in, and y'all, like I told y'all, man. Rhonda told me, don't be bringing no articles up here with. If it ain't got no bullet points and numbers.
Oh my God! Don't do.
Here we go.
We can get past that.
No, we can't, because you made a good point. Because people don't think I listen. People don't think I listen. People don't think I listen. All right. Here we go, guys. All right. We over here at lovepanky.com. Y'all see it. Your guide to better love and relationships. What's the title of it? Hey, I said this is a good article. I don't know how credible the source is, but it's a good article. Right? Rhonda, can you see that article?
Yeah, it's real big, so I know you're going to point out some of the things. Yeah, the font is real big.
Hold on. Sorry about that. What about now?
I'll do it one more time, maybe 1 or 2 more times.
Hopefully it ain't too small for the audience, but it'll be linked in the description, guys.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we're going to leave it right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
19 unrealistic expectations in love. We want to believe, but shouldn't. Now, guys, this is the reason why I'm using this article. Look at what it said. We want to believe it, but shouldn't. Because basically, guys, unrealistic expectations are just a clash of tradition. All right. We tend to set unrealistic expectations when it comes to love, thanks to rom-coms, romance novels, and bad advice. But we don't have to. Notice, guys, I like what they said in bad advice. Well, where did the bad advice come from? The bad advice came from the people you love the most. What do you
Hmm.
think, Rhonda, when you hear me say that? Because you ain't listening to
No, I
everybody.
no, I agree. No, you are only listening to your real close friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how broken they are, and here they are giving you
Absolutely.
advice on stuff. So yeah, we always gonna get it. And then when stuff go down, how you gonna get out of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Absolutely.
then that's the resentment sets in. So yeah.
Now, absolutely, guys. Now we're gonna go to these 19, right? But I wanted to go right here, right? I wanted to go right here because it says, stop right there and realize that every word encapsulated within these glossy covers depicting lovey-dovey couples is a figment of a romantic novelist's imagination. We live in the real world, and it always isn't a pretty place. The media plays a huge role in making us believe that love is a simple thing. Romantic comedies, chick flicks, and even Disney cartoons portray love and relationships in a very different light than the real life does. We are led to believe that falling in love and maintaining a relationship is as easy as ABC. Now, guys, we're going to go through these 19. We're going to go through these 19 as quick as possible. Okay? All right. So, let's get down here to it. But I want to see this part right here. Expectations can ruin your love life. Both men and women are guilty of associating relationships with simplicity. They have unrealistic expectations that everything will work out beautifully. Don't be naive and fall into that trap. By remaining realistic and open when it comes to love, you can actually expect much more. So fight the urge to expect these things and make your love life worthwhile again. Guys, this thing, I'm telling you now, you might not even like you might not even know the actual uh website, but I'm telling you, this article gonna hit it. Number one, unrealistic expectations. I come first. Many people get into relationships thinking they will come first in their partner's lives, but constantly being number one is a myth. You
Hmm.
do realize it's okay to come in second, and every so often, maybe third. In the same way you have other priorities in life, so does your partner. Ron, I'm gonna tell you, when I saw this, in order for any relationship to be successful, somebody gotta decide not to be first. What you think about this?
Well, of course that's the case. Like, again, that's when stuff gets Americanized. This right here, you're taught that you're supposed to put your spouse first. Cleave to
Mm-hmm.
your wife, cleave to this, cleave to that. And it's so unrealistic that it destroys marriages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think you think you
And
got
dating
something good.
relationship
You said what now?
and dating relationships. It
Oh,
ain't just destroy
absolutely.
marriages.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It destroys all of that. You neglect your friends and family who you've been around forever, trying to put this person first to show them that, hey, I'm here for you and only you and whatever, whatever. But no, that's a lie. And anybody with a decent mind should know that at some point in time you can't always be first. That in and of itself is unrealistic. Now, you can make yourself first with yourself all the time, but you can't
Mm-hmm.
put that expectation on somebody else.
Absolutely. I think one of the things
Mm-hmm.
about being in a relationship, you're signing up to be second, third, fourth, fifth. Right?
Mm.
The unrealistic expectation is this person puts me first. Those are the relationships that fail. I better be first. That's why you can't keep a relationship, right? Even the scriptures say love gives the advantage, not take it, right? Right?
Mm.
And that's what a lot of people don't get, right? So I come first is an unrealistic expectation. Let's get to the next one. So we got 19 of these things to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, there won't be any fighting in this relationship. Unrealistic expectation is thinking that all fights are a bad thing. You have to change your mindset and realize that conflict isn't the worst thing. All healthy couples fight, only it may not seem like fighting because it's handled with respect. Disagreements allow you to discuss certain things, which in the long run is healthy for your relationship. You need to be able to share your disagreements so you can work through them. Not fighting leads to resentment. I completely agree with this, Rhonda, because in sales and every leadership course you take, conflict brings about growth. Controversy brings about
Mm-hmm.
growth.
Mm-hmm.
Try the At the end of the day, sometimes the best relationships are going to be spawned out of a disagreement. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think.
Listen, if you're not having tough conversations with the people around you, and especially the people that you're in a relationship with, then you definitely should not be together. Um, it's no different than somebody wanting everybody to be happy all the time, the peacemakers of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's not realistic, and is basic. I hate to say stupid, but it's stupid. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do, like, you're setting yourself up to be constantly let down, constantly hurt, all of that good stuff. I know I've said to my mom a few times, I'm like, Mom, we got to have the tough conversations. It makes our relationship stronger. It makes us
Mm-hmm.
better. Doesn't mean I don't like you. And people feel like we can't disagree, or you don't like me, or you don't love me. And that's not what it is. It's just that, no, you go somewhere else if you want somebody to agree with you all the time. And there's one thing to have the conversation, but you also, and then there's a thing to be contrary. Now, if somebody's
Mm-hmm.
just being contrary, just to be against you all the time, that's not what this is talking about. That's something different.
Absolutely.
You probably need to let them go.
Absolutely, guys. This is what I loved about this article, because fighting gonna happen, man. Go to your corner, go to your corner, I go to my corner, fighting gonna happen. Because at the end of the day, you're stuck in this ecosystem, you're stuck in this bubble that you've
Mm.
created. That's all it basically is, right? And so at the end of the day, a disagreement is a disagreement, right? Go and do your detox, and when both of y'all are finished detoxing, come back. But the unrealistic expectation is, oh, we don't fight, we don't do this. Yeah, you will. You'll get into these disagreements. I like what you said, Rhonda, about just being contrary, though, because now you got a problem if you're just being devil's advocate all the time. Now that's going to become frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But a disagreement and a fight here is what realistic expectations are. Let's get to the next one. Number 3. There's not a need for anyone else. I thought this was huge. The idea you don't need anyone else in your life once you're in a relationship is silly and a dangerous myth. One person will not fulfill your social needs, and the sooner you realize it, the better. You just said something, Rhonda. You said religion then taught us cleave to this person and cleave to that person. When realistically, guys, none of the relationships you had before you got into this relationship should be gone. That's what causes a lot of issues in a relationship, because you ain't that person that they gave up, right? I don't ask anybody to give up somebody in their past, because I've learned enough now to know, if you ain't gonna replace that person, don't tell that person to stop talking to that person. You need people around you who can offer support that your partner can't. What you think about this one, Ron?
Look, this one is toxicity at its best. The minute somebody tell you to get rid of somebody all because they said something that that person didn't like, or what have you, or you yourself not being open to the people who have known you forever, saying like, hey man, I don't know if this person is good for you, or like these certain signs are showing up. Even that right there, like, you got to be careful with that. Like, that tends to lead down a path of things not going to go well. It's going to definitely
Mm-hmm.
end badly. And then you look up, and probably one of the people that had your back the whole time, and now they're gone, all because you done sold out for this person.
A
So yeah,
relationship,
this is toxicity at its best.
a relationship shouldn't make you give up. Shouldn't make you give up anybody who is significant in your life prior to that person coming along. Can we agree on that one, Ron?
Absolutely, but people do
Right.
it all the time. But yeah, I
But
agree with.
I think I think that goes into number 2. The fighting and disagreements are coming from somebody associated in your life, right? At the end of the day, most of the if you cut people out of a person's life, there's going to be a lot of fights, because they're looking for that fulfillment that that person gave, that you just don't have the capacity to give. And I
And you
think
don't
that's
know if
where,
there's a level of jealousy. You don't know if there's a level
oh
of
yeah,
jealousy.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, and so, like, yeah, now that's a whole nother story.
But
But yeah, you don't know, and people sometimes may not like how close you and some of your other people are outside of them.
absolutely, absolutely. Y'all get down in the playlist. We did a podcast called "Should Married People Have Single Friends?" Right? Well, why do we have talk about that? Because a lot of times when people get married, they cut off their single friends, right? They cut them off. I think y'all get down into that podcast, because I think overwhelmingly the idea was married people shouldn't have single friends. But if that single friend is somebody important, you may need to reconsider that if you don't want to be fighting. Number 4, guys, understand my feelings. Understand, your partner isn't a mind reader, so don't expect them to know what you're thinking and feeling. If you don't express yourself, they'll be left in the dark, and what is bothering you will keep bothering you. If the communication channels between the two of you aren't solid, it's only a matter of time before your relationship fails. You should never expect your partner to just understand you and your wants and needs. No matter how much you seem to vibe with each other, you need to talk. Rhonda just jumped on that as far as being present, but not being there. And again, a lot of people think I should pick up on the nonverbals. But now, guys, you gotta understand it's always facts over feelings, no matter what. And if you look at facts over feelings instead of you should just know what I'm going through, no, the facts are what you got to operate off of. Because trying to understand feelings are fleeting. They always changing day by day. Jump in there, Ronnie. Let me know what you think.
Well, now you know how I feel about feelings. Feelings are fleeting, but feelings are also real. And if you are in this relationship with somebody, you should know them well enough when something about their demeanor has changed. Like that should be something. But yeah, you should always open your mouth to talk about things. But just like when we did the love languages thing, I still believe we should know the fight languages, how people fight, because that may be a way for them. That's how they communicate when they fight. And so which I think is just as important as how you love somebody, like knowing what they do when conflict or challenges arise. And
Ron,
so,
I'm glad you said that, because I think this goes back to number 3, right? That person you kicked out of their life understands they feelings. So, right, at the end of the day, guys, if you let those people stay in their life who they vented to and who understood them without them having to open up, you may not even deal with these issues. But if you say, I'm the only one who will fulfill you, you don't need anybody else, that's when this is going to become an issue, Ron. Because the more you isolate the person, the more that person going to shut down. Now you got to try to play mind reader. And then that person don't want to talk to you because it might be a backstory they don't want you to know about. So guys, you got to keep people in their life from the past, because that's where they can talk about those issues that happened in the past that maybe they don't want you to know, because if you found out, you might leave them. What do you think about that, Ron?
Well, but again, that comes to how both of you guys are with your self-esteem and where you stand with yourself. Right. And if it takes that, because let's just be real now, that can be very flattering, like, oh, they want me all to themselves and all that crap, when they little devils themselves. And then you don't even want to be around them. But then you done lost somebody good and decent, whether that's one of your boys or just a really good friend. Y'all ain't nothing never had to happen, but just somebody that was good people in your life. That mess happens all the time in the search and the hunt for love. Man, keep that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, number 5. We have to be together. There's no need to be together 24/7. Make time for yourself and invest in your friendship. If you smother each other and don't spend a sliver of time apart, you will eventually get tired and bored and angry or tense. Too much time together is no good. You wouldn't want to spend all the time with your mama sister. So why do that with your partner? You need to be individuals who come together. Rhonda, when I saw this, I think one of the biggest thing is people overdo it when they get in a relationship by trying to be up under each other all the time. And it just eventually you get tired of that person. It drives a wedge. A lot of people don't spend enough time away because they're so focused on spending time together. Jump in there. Let me know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, it's new, it's fresh, right? And you know how we say, oh, you booed up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's something special about, you
It's cuffing
cheesing all over
season.
the place because you booed up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, so with that being said, yeah, of course, in the beginning, you want to be around them, right? And depends on, again, what you're on the hunt for, what you're searching for when it comes to who and what you want to end up with your relationships. And so, let me lock this person down so that they know that I'm interested. But I don't know. I think you can learn a lot about somebody when they're doing something that they want to do. And it's good to spend time together, but find out what this person is doing when they're not with you, so that you can see if it's something you would want to be interested in. Not this so that you could.
Ron, I disagree. Don't care about what they're doing when they're not with you. It ain't for you to do. They prefer to do it with the people they with.
I mean, I think there's a level of wanting to know that your partner is good. But again, it's no different than some of the other podcasts we talked about. Like, no, please don't be together 24/7. But you never know what they may introduce you to that you may like too, which opens up space for you to find something else to do.
But
But no, you
it,
don't. You definitely shouldn't be up under somebody 24. Even your mom and your sister, you shouldn't
yeah,
be up under them all the time either.
absolutely, guys. That's one of the things a lot of people struggle with is the more you spend, you got to balance this thing out. You got to balance this thing out. When a person is not around you, don't be concerned about what they're doing. If you're in a relationship, at the end of the day, they chose not to do it with you. Enjoy your time by yourself, or enjoy the time you're going to spend with the people you're going to spend with now that that person is not with you. Y'all getting the majority of time together. Let them enjoy their minority time. Number 6, our relationship is easy. Thinking that our relationship should be easy is an unrealistic expectation. Anyone who tells you their relationship is easy is bullshitting you or in denial. Long-term lovers will tell you that relationships are hard work and that they're built on compromise, trust, and understanding. If you get into a relationship thinking it will be a walk in the park, you're in for some nasty surprises. And I'm going to say this, Rhonda, before I turn it over to you. I think this is where the word soulmate, vibing, I can't really explain it. It's just so easy. Yeah, it's easy because it's new. It's easy because, right, everybody's putting forth a max effort in the beginning. Y'all know that when a plane takes off, that's when it's using its most energy. But then it starts cruising at 35,000 feet. It's using very little energy. A lot of us don't get to the 30,000 feet, though. The hardest thing for that plane is to get to cruising altitude. Most relationships don't get to cruising altitude because all that work to get to cruising altitude is rough. So I think what a lot of people got to understand is you're looking for somebody that's going to be easy. All relationships start off easy. It's what happens when you're on that ascent that makes it hard. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you're thinking.
Listen, that compromising and trusting and being understanding, those things are huge, even in friendships. So even more so in relationships. And if you're not willing to do that, because again, man, when somebody got you feeling like, no pun intended, like you can walk on water, everything is so good, everything is so easy. Like they really they
got somebody else.
romancing you.
They got somebody else.
They romancing you. And then here go the other shoe dropping a few months later. But yet they done showed you all these things, right? That's why I said potential is a killer of a lot of relationships, man. And we fall hook, line, and sinker for potential with people.
That's gonna be a future.
And
that's
then
gonna be a future.
you end up compromising.
That's gonna be a future podcast. How long do you wait for?
They knew they weren't gonna ever give you anyway.
That's another podcast right there, Rhonda. How long before we give up on the potential? What's the time limit on potential? That's going to be another podcast for another day.
2 seconds.
Let's get to number 7. You can tell the single one on this podcast. Number 7. Disney is right. Critics have written countless papers on how flawed Disney's way of projecting relationships is. To some extent, they're all right. Real life is nothing like Disney. Princes and princesses just don't fall in love and live happily ever after. Everyone is flawed, and you have to understand that we live in the real world and not a 2D cartoon world. The sooner you let go of your Disney-esque expectations, the sooner you can start working on your real life relationship. Everybody who knows me know I talk about the fairy tale. Oh my God, you're so good. Oh my God, I miss you so much. Everybody knows that I always get people about operating in a fairy tale because that's the number one thing. We grew up on all this fairy tale stuff. We got read stories about a fairy tale. You got people calling their little kids king or calling their daughter princess or queen or whatever, right? And that's all good. But you got to make sure that it's rooted in the reality that they're going to experience. See, we're taking these kids to the movies. We dress them up a certain way and all this kind of stuff, but we're not preparing them for the real life. So I like when she said Disney is right, is an unrealistic expectation, because we do this to kids, male and female, out of the womb. Now, if you not going, like she said, princess and princesses don't just fall in love and live happily ever after. But what if that person's been called a prince and a princess and a king and a queen their entire life? Now they think, man, I just need to meet somebody else who think like that. Well, you ain't living in that world that Disney showed. Jump in there, Rhonda, let me know what you think.
But if that's the case, then nobody should wear a white wedding dress. Right? Nobody should. I'm just saying, Nobody should wear a white wedding dress. No man should put on no tux. Because at the end of the day, none of that matters, because the real work begins after the I do's, after the wedding. And so, but no, 9 times out of 10, Disney stopped with them going off into the sunset or doing whatever they're gonna do, and all of that. And it does. It tugs at your heartstrings. But don't tell me I can't have that. It's in a cartoon.
Stop right. Hey, it's so funny you said that, Rhonda. Look, when Simba got grown in that second Lion King, he had to deal with some stuff, didn't he? See, he had to deal with some stuff that the Lion King 2 wasn't as good as the Lion King 1. Because Simba grew up in the Lion King 2, and all of a sudden, he and the girl, when they got back together, they had to work through some stuff. Daddy had died, and you learned everything about Daddy's dying, and you learned that your uncle was Disney tried to put it in there, and guess what? It didn't do as good as Lion King #1. And that's what y'all got to understand. That's why Disney don't like to have part 2 and 3 of stuff. Shrek 2 and 3 didn't do as good as Shrek #1. Okay? So a lot of people got to kind of understand this component of it. Number 8, make me happy. It is an unrealistic expectation for your partner to be the one thing that makes you happy. They have their own life to live. They can't cater to your every need just as you can't for them. You should be happy and fulfilled in all aspects of your life. If you rely on your partner for complete and total happiness, you will put an unfair amount of pressure on them and strain the relationship. If you want your partner to make you happy, you have to work hard to do the same. Rhonda, that's what I'm telling you. I know we never heard of this website, but this woman is spitting facts. It is not your partner's job to make you happy.
Of course,
and a lot of people struggle because they can't make themselves happy, but they're expecting somebody else to make them happy. Jump in there, Rhonda, give me your thought.
No, look, this is one truth that everybody should go into a relationship thinking, or knowing, not even thinking, knowing that you are responsible for your happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mama hurt you. Yeah, your first love hurt you. Yeah, your daddy won't there. Whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you're responsible for how things are supposed to go in your life once you hit a certain age. And it's a shame that it's a lot of adults who are really like 5 years old at heart, trying to be in a relationship and then wonder why they don't have anybody that will take them seriously.
It's so funny you say that.
Because you're trying to get happiness outside of yourself instead of looking on the inside.
And this is the one emotion, guys, that's going to keep running from you. Even when you capture it, it's going to go ahead and run. It's just like Pepe Le Pew back in the day on Looney Tunes, right? Every time you catch it, they're going to try to run away. So a lot of people struggle with this because
he was doing something different.
Well, that ain't legal now. That ain't legal now.
No.
Number 9, my way is right. Don't think that your way is the right and only way. You got into a relationship with another human being and not with yourself. So it's common sense that they have their own way of doing things. Everything from dealing with conflict to cleaning the toilets may be different. So learn to embrace the differences and not criticize them. And I'm going to tell you like this, guys. That's why I think it's important. If you're going to get into a formal relationship like marriage, I think it's important, no matter what your church teach you, y'all need to live together before you finalize and formalize anything. Okay? What you got to recognize is living in separate households is a completely different relationship than living together. And so I think right now, the only way to get around this one is to live together first, go on trips together first, do things that allow you guys to kind of be in a controlled environment where you're forced to kind of understand each other outside of a fairy tale component. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think about that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, establishing roles in your relationship is huge. Nobody wants to see a ring around a toilet or a tub. But at the same time, some people act like their hands and arms just broke after they done got married because they're not doing anything.
But here's the deal, Ron. I'm glad you said that.
Weren't set. Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry to cut you off. But guys, don't fight over cooking and cleaning. Go out to eat, hire a maid. Jeff, well, what if we don't have the money to hire a maid? Okay, y'all need to work on y'all careers so you can make more money so you can do it. Because nobody likes to cook and clean. Nobody likes these
But
domesticated dudes.
not if they believe the traditional way and archaic way that women are supposed to cook and clean and do the laundry and all that crap. Yeah, it's
But
gonna be a problem anyway.
all y'all out there listening to what Rhonda just said, she's right. But the only reason women did that back in the day because the law said they couldn't work. The laws did not consider them a citizen. That's what they had to do. That's not the case anymore, guys. That's not the case. And that's where I think a lot of people, that goes back to the whole, you better know what your tradition is rooted in. Because our tradition being two black people is rooted in slavery. But now if I keep eating the way our tradition tells us to eat, now I end up with all these health issues. What's the first thing the doctor tells any black person when they walk into the doctor's office? Change your diet. Change it. I was in the gym this morning, heard a cat talking about his father probably just going ahead and going to decide to, look, he ain't going to do none of the things the doctor said. He want what he like to eat. He ain't going to take the medicine like he's supposed to take it. He said, man, I've accepted the fact that that's how my dad want to grow out. And guys, that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, if your tradition is rooted in something that's not accurate the way society is now, you got to throw that tradition away. Stop trying to make your woman cook and clean. She don't like doing it all the time. Right? And stop that. Women are equal now. Women have access to the same thing. Why are you trying to take them back to a certain way when realistically, and on the flip side, guys, the man had to be the provider back then. So if you want this woman to be this, you can't tell her she got to work too. And she got to take care of the kids and she got to do all that. Right? So again, I think a lot of people are missing that your tradition, if your tradition is not keeping up with the times, your tradition is killing your relationship. So when you say my way is right and it's going to be the only way, trust me, you running that person into the arms of somebody else. Sorry about that, Ron. I had to jump in there and say that.
No, you're fine. Just stop acting like your arms broke.
Look, guys, they even hire a maid once a month. Go out to eat every now and then. Because the only reason you cooking and cleaning is you trying to save money and you think she should do it for free. Y'all got to get away from that, man. It's killing more relationships right now because she did not sign up to cook and clean as a domestic servant. She signed up to possibly cook and clean because she enjoyed doing that, but it's not something, because eventually you're going to stop appreciating it. Eventually you're going to stop appreciating it. You can only cook so many meals that are going to be different. So make sure if she cooks and cleans, don't make it that she has to do it all the time. Number 10, Rhonda, we're going to jump in here. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'm moving fast enough. Number 10, we share one mind. You may have found a partner to have and whole, but you don't share one mind. Understand and accept that your partner has different opinions and beliefs. And I think we kind of just went along with that one. Being with you is not going to change their political preference. Y'all get down the playlist. Rhonda and I did a podcast called Is Politics Destroying Your Relationship? It's not going to make them convert out of their religion. And it's certainly not going to get them to forego their friends and hobbies. If you wanted everything your way, just clone and date yourself. Embrace your differences and revel in how we live in a world of diversity. Go ahead, Rhonda, jump in there. Let me know what you think about that one.
No, look, there's growth in having differences and people stretching you. Hopefully you're not getting with somebody just to stay where you are. Hopefully you're getting into a relationship to grow and expand and pursue whatever goals and dreams y'all have, type deal. But no, it's okay to share some things, but don't expect what they grew up on. That's a battle in and of itself for them to actually have to change. And at the end of the day, people only change because they want to change, not because somebody else is making them do it. They'll just find a woman or a man that will allow them to be who they are.
And guys, guess what? Conversion brings conflict. Anything you're trying to get a person to convert to, it creates conflict, and they always gonna miss their old love. So let them have it, guys. If you Christian and they Muslim and y'all connect, okay, let them do their thing, right? Because if you start trying to convert the other, now they're cutting off somebody, and that goes back to the one that we talked about in the beginning. You don't want them to cut off their friends and family. So if you got with them and now all of a sudden we married now, so you got to convert to this and convert to that. Remember, guys, that's based on women being property, right? Which means that, okay, I'm going to get with this family and I'm going to convert to everything they're doing. That doesn't exist anymore. So guys, embrace the fact that you're not going to share one mind. When we get together, we know the things that we chill with. We know the things that we vibe with, and we're going to embrace that and enjoy that. Number 11. I'm going to try to get through these, guys. what I'm going to do, Rhonda, with these last nine, I'm going to just go
Mm-hmm.
through them, and then we're going to just have a general
Yes,
discussion as we close it out. Number 11,
sounds
I'll
good.
always be satisfied. Right. Number 12, the sex will be great forever. Number 13, everyone's going to love my partner. Ooh, that's a big one. Number 14, the power is shared. Right? There's going to be a power struggle, guys. That's why I told you it's going to be a top dog, and then there's going to be the secondary dog. Okay? Number 15, why wait? Right? That you need to pick up the pace before things go south or if things are good. A lot of people are rushing into these relationships because they think their biological clock is ticking, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and do this now. We can work out the kinks later. Number 16, this is a big one, Ron. They'll change for you.
Yeah, you
Right?
probably need to talk about that one.
Number 16, you meet someone you adore.
Mm-hmm.
You have great sex, wonderful conversation. Everything is perfect. There's a problem, though. Maybe they don't want kids, but you do. Maybe they want to travel the world while you want to stay close to home. An unrealistic expectation in a relationship to believe if your partner wants it to work and wants to be with you, they'll change their core values. Biggest lie ever told. Jump in there, Ron, to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, that's a whole lie. And you
Okay,
deserve whatever you get.
Expand on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, and you deserve whatever you get if you think that that is what's supposed to happen in a relationship. You must have picked somebody really weak and low with self-esteem and all of that if that's what they're going to be. And again, you deserve whatever happens to you in your relationship. How narcissistic is that to think that you are so great that somebody should change for you?
Well,
So
I
no, but
mean,
that's a good one.
sorry. Look, guys, y'all can think it, but don't get mad when it don't become reality. Right?
Please don't think it.
That's Number 17, things will work themselves out. Guys, nothing works itself out, right? So many couples think that they're together and neither of them will leave. So whatever comes their way will be fine. You need to put the work in, not just hope that the universe finds a way to make things okay. That ostrich in the sand mentality, head in the sand mentality, guys, ain't nothing gonna work itself out. You're gonna have to deal with it in a formal relationship. Number 18 and number 19, Rhonda, I want to leave it on those two. Love is enough and happily ever after. Love is enough, right? This is the whole point of the love is enough. I want to make sure we got to this and left some time to discuss these last two. As unromantic as this is, it is also unrealistic expectation of love. Love is not all powerful and it's not always enough. If it was, there wouldn't be divorces or breakups. So many couples love each other but break up for other reasons. Love does not conquer all, and expecting this feeling to fix deeper problems will not make anything better. And the reason why I wanted to say that, Rhonda, because a lot of people who are in church who are going to see this has been taught this their whole life. Love conquers all. Well, that same Bible says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. That same Bible says, where a man's heart is, his treasure going to be there also. This is why love is not enough. And then you couple that with number 19, happily ever after. The dream and unrealistic expectation of a happily ever after will haunt us for the rest of our lives. And it isn't that it's impossible, but not what we've been exposed to. A couple doesn't get married and just live happily ever after. You don't kiss the person you've been crushing on and expect everything just to work out. Jump in there, Ron, to let me know what you think about these two. Jump in there, Ron, and let me know what you think about these two.
But listen, but people do think that everything is going to work out, right? Like when you talk about the Disney reference from earlier, yes, that's what's in our minds, and and if we don't have that, then are we failures, right? With love not being enough. I was at a graduation the other day, and when my cousin opened up one of the cards, her little brother, who's like 11, said, "Dang, ain't no money in that card," right? And somebody said to her, well, it's love, right? They love you, so they're sending you a card. And then before I knew it, I said, love don't pay the bills,
It sure
right?
don't.
And she was like, that part. And so what I love about this is though that these two examples try to give people hope for the mess that they find themselves in. You hoping just enough, like, oh, but if they love me enough, this no. If it's gonna be happy, this is what's gonna happen. They'll do this, they'll do that. you're in a different place than where you were when you got married or when y'all first started dating than where you are now. So no,
Mm-hmm.
love isn't enough because now this is the other shoe dropping, right? And if you do want to happily ever after, you better go read some doggone fairy tale books. That's what you better read because that's the only place that you're gonna get them is on some paper. And what I like about this is that I'm glad that they left these two for last
Yes.
because as much as I do agree with being present and communicating properly, these two right here, I know people get told this more than anybody when if they go to their people to say, "Hey, we're having a rough time or we're going to divorce." People will lie to them and tell them this BS right here.
Yes.
And people will like eat it up real good. And I refuse to tell anybody that's a friend of mine or a family member of mine that's going through that love is enough and have no, not at all. No.
And it's so funny, guys. The reason why I wanted to get to this one because I know we were running out of time, but I said 18 and 19 we got to get to this one because again everybody gets taught these first. Everybody gets taught these first as a little kid and all this kind of stuff, and now you got people. Rhonda and I just did a podcast called "Dating Apps Ruining Your Dating." Why? Because the dating app realizes that you know what? Ain't nobody trying to go through all of this to have a relationship. They just want to get together, have a physical, intimate moment or whatever, and move on to the next person. Because this is all that's happening in relationships. And the reason why I titled this, the reason why I said the top unrealistic expectations. The reason why there's so much failure in relationships is none of the expectations are rooted in reality. Because if you knew the reality of a relationship, you just stay single. Because if you already working hard at your job, you already got demands placed upon you. A relationship is another demand. And now you've been taught wrong about it. And now you better choose somebody who gonna learn right with you. See, if I've been taught wrong, I better get somebody who gonna learn right with me. Because both of us learned wrong, and now you can put both of us together. So then you hear this love is enough. Well, if I got taught wrong about everything else, I got taught wrong about love. I got taught this emotional fairy tale stuff, but your relationship don't deal with none of that. Like Rhonda said, love don't pay the bill. So that fairy tale is the most expensive thing you gonna ever do. Right? You look at these people when they do gender reveals and when they start doing these birthday parties and when they start doing all this stuff. Man, if you don't have the money, you look, it was just Mother's Day. Right? You think about some of the people who ended up at a Ruth's Chris for Mother's Day and some of the people who ended up at Cracker Barrel for the Mother's Day. These holidays are some of the most gut-wrenching things to do because you don't have the money at that level you were told that, man, that's what would really be good. Right? And again, guys, this is why it comes down to when this thing say love is not enough and happily ever after, I said, oh my God, you got to wake up every day. You got to wake up every day. And guys, that clock starts. It restarts every day. Yesterday's home run don't win today's game. Y'all could have been having a good day yesterday. Today is going to be all hell breaking loose. And I like what Rhonda said, man, because honestly, this is what we've been taught. And it's the biggest unrealistic expectation, or like we like to say, it's just flat out lie. See, and it's a whole lie. She wrote a good article because she put the last two that should have been the first two. But you would have fought it if it was number 1 and 2. So she had to wait for you to get to 18 and 19 because you don't want to listen to somebody tell you this straight up from the beginning. But your drunk uncle will tell you that. Your person who runs through relationships will tell you this. Right? But the people who are stuck in these relationships giving us this bad fairy tale advice. And I think that's what has to stop. Rhonda, what was your thought on this article?
You picked a good one from this hackable website. I think you picked a good one. The name was a little suspect. I didn't know what was going to happen, but no, this was a decent article for sure, and definitely brought up some valid points. But it pointed out to, like, for me, the my way is right. That's a big one for me outside of the last two that we talked about. And so my takeaway is the minute you understand that it's not all about you and how you think is not always right, and people must agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
you'll be better. You'll be a better partner than anybody could ever ask for.
And I think it's interesting. When I saw this article, I said, "Oh my God, guys!" I said this article, and guys, it's going to be linked in the description because we couldn't go through all of it. But this article really laid it out. And our issue is what we're being taught wrong, and we're trying to make wrong right, and you can't do it. And I think that when you again, guys, it'll be linked down in the description. I mean, I can tell you guys, this thing is crazy because these relationships are hard because it's a clash of wrong teachings. That's all it is. And this relationship, if it's gonna work, somebody gonna have to accept being wrong, so that or both of y'all gonna have to decide, man, we got to do things different so that we operate in objectivity. Because all of these things were based in emotion, and you've been taught emotion wrong. Rhonda, what's your final thought for the night?
No, actually, that was my final thought. Yeah, that was my final thought. Don't believe all the lies, man. We know you want to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody want to have somebody. But that don't mean that you have to do it wrong or believe all these lies. To think that you're gonna that somebody's gonna come in and save you, or that somebody's gonna come in and they're just gonna be everything you ever wanted, and will cater to you. That's a lie. And so make sure you're being the best version of yourself, and hopefully that's a truthful version of yourself, so that you could be out here and hopefully be real with the right one or ones.
Yep. There you go. Guys, I'm gonna say this. I appreciate that, Rhonda, because I'm gonna say this. Stay single till you become realistic. Stay single till you become realistic. Run the streets if you're gonna do this unrealistic stuff. Because it's gonna cost you a lot of heartache, pain, and all that if y'all get into that together. This fairy tale stuff, these unrealistic expectations are causing more problems than anything else in the relationship. Don't get in a formal relationship until you've embraced realistic things. Use these 19 to say, if I do any of these, I don't need to be in a relationship. If I believe any of this, I don't need to be in a relationship. Because I think a lot of people struggle with staying single. But single is a blessing because you get to choose when you're ready to go to the next level, because you've purged all these lies you've been taught. And that's where a lot of people struggle, man. Again, y'all get down in the comment section, man. Jeff and Rhonda on to something, or Jeff and Rhonda crazy, man? Is that article too long, man? It don't take all that work to be in a relationship, blah, 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 right? Whatever you've been taught, get down in the comment section. Let us know what you think, man, and y'all know what it is. It's Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you hadn't already, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications. Again, get down in the comment section, man. That really helps with the algorithm, helps YouTube push this video out, because we know some people got unrealistic expectations out there. I got to thank my resident relationship expert. I'm going to let her tell y'all where y'all can find her on the socials.
Find me on Instagram at RMB
And of course, I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. All of my information, again, is below. Again, if you hadn't, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notification. Get down in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And until next time, we gonna holler.